nitachapa kila kona, niko mbele sitakoma, baby keep moving, had that chance, now it's your turn, don't quit this for no one, baby keep grew up on that KE, Nas
guys, your girl Shiro with another episode of the Kenyan Plug Pod, and today I am joined by a special guest all the way from Korea, my Kenyan brother Robert. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
Hello. Well, as you said, my name is Robert. I'm a second-year student at the University of Kent, studying economics. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Yes.
Happy to be on it.
The Kenyan Plug Pod is international, man. It's international. So you guys, are you ready? Are you ready to talk about some international drip? in a sense. So shout out to all the listeners as always. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for subscribing. Make sure you're subscribing still. And we're about to get into this episode because, you know, it's about to get spicy once again. So we're talking about university, going to university, dealing with the headache that is university, and then dealing with the expectations of who you are supposed to be after university, the expectations of who you're supposed to be during it, just all of the expectations that come with being in uni. So let's get into it. So Robert is actually who introduced this topic, and I was like, this is actually something that we should talk about because a lot of us know about this thing, the expectations. So I think I'll let you introduce it better because I want to hear what your version of it was.
Okay. Well, first of all, studying abroad, you know, you always have higher expectations, given that you're paying higher fees. So it's like, you know, this thing better be worth the money you're paying for, you know.
Exactly.
You're coming back, be a professional from, you know, the West. You've studied abroad, so you know, you're basically coming back like, I don't know what the expectations were, but they were high.
Oh yes.
And I was entering university 18. Yeah, like not that did I mean you're grown, but I had just turned 18. So it's like, yeah. In university you're almost expected to be a grown up already. I don't know what you are, who you are, what your likes are, and that adult life will come and phase you, but you will not be phased by it.
You can't be.
You know, I found that interesting. Yes, that, you know, expected to go to class, read, um, pick up all the knowledge you can, ask your lecturers all the questions you can, and as well socialize. On top of that, build a career. You know,
Exactly.
get as much CV application knowledge as you can, and find yourself in this world. Like, and be like, yeah, four things, and the fifth one is finally take care of your body, which is the craziest one. Like, if that's not done first, nothing else is sorted. You know.
Yeah.
But you're also expected. You know, I find it fun. There's no place like in society that you'll be tested like university, in my opinion. You're given a lot of freedom, no supervision, and you know you're fresh from being a child, if that makes sense. You're fresh from being taken care of, or if it's not being taken care of, living in a restricted environment. You know.
Oh yes.
So
That's
expectation of sorry.
No. Go ahead.
That expectation of being released from your cage but still being able to cage yourself is interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, that's the time when you finally decide whether you're going to take what your parents gave you and implement those things, or if you're going to be like, hey, I'm finally alone, I can finally do my thing and I can go crazy now and nobody can stop me. So it's about finding that balance because, of course, you don't want to be just confined to whatever you grew up with because, of course, this is college. This is your time to experience some new stuff. But at the same time, you also want to keep some of your values and the things that make you you because it's easy to get lost in college. It's easy to get lost and caught up in the freedoms and all those open forums of trouble. You can get in trouble at any time because you have every opportunity to get in trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, you know, I feel like before today, this is truly the 21st century. When someone goes into uni today, it's like, it's a lot more different given that you have access to a lot more information, technology, and also society just seems to be going, changing, changing a lot.
Oh yeah.
So,
It's changing and it's not changing for the good. Between all of these challenges and all of these CG things, and then the part of the thing that you spoke on was the body, taking care of your body, and that goes into levels. Those are, you can break that down into levels, because when you're in college you start getting a little bit more aware of yourself, of self-worth, and knowing yourself and everything else. So you start having to discover which version of yourself you want to continue as, and that can go from sex related ways of taking care of your body to just how you're eating and your health habits are, and working out regimens and all of those things. So I feel like a lot of things develop in college, but it does not mean that you're grown, or it does not mean that you have officially adulted, like you're officially an adult. I think you just learn how to make decisions in college more than anything. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's the big thing as well. Um, University is meant to be, the place where you make decisions for your
Mm-hmm.
life. Also, with regards to diet and exercise, this is for the man. You know, no one ever expected you. I mean, like, in society, it's generally, oh, the woman. You should get a woman to cook for you. Who's also taught how to cook at home. But when you go to university, if you don't know how to cook, my goodness, you'll suffer. Like, that's what you really discover. That your body needs fuel and proper fuel and the effort that's put into it. You know. Um, for example, I know a lot of people just, myself included, because this was me. I would just go get chips, soda, drinks, the cheapest things I can afford, but not necessarily the healthiest,
Mm-hmm. Oh
because
yeah.
it's easy and it's like, stress free. Like I want to do other things with my money, I want to live life and want to do it while I'm full. I don't think I need everything, the vegetable, fruit, and all that to be healthy. Yeah.
Trust me, it's not just for guys. This is for women too. If you grew up a certain way, like you come home, the food is already made. Madhe ameshatengeneza chakula, so you don't have to do anything else. You just come home, you relax. If you're coming from that household too, you have to gear up. You have to take everything that you learned, everything you watched, everything. You have to implement those things so that you can be fed. Otherwise, there's no one who's going to make sure you're fed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
it's
have
just you.
this. Yeah.
I didn't have time to like come home and eat and stuff like that. I was just like, okay, I have an assignment due. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing that. And my roommates, they'll be like, this girl, she's not eating. She's just eating cereal, and that's it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That work-life balance as well. I worked at a night job at a club. Yeah. For the
Ah,
longest, and that was, for me, it was a great experience because one, it just taught me, for the money, you do all the jobs you don't want to, and you suck it up because at the end of the day, it's for the money.
exactly.
You need it. Um, but balancing between, having a social life, having a work life, and having a university productive life, that is challenging,
Oh
completely
yeah.
challenging. Um, Jobs get you drained because you feel that, oh, I'm already earning money. I don't necessarily need to focus on my studies as much. I'm already self-sufficient.
Exactly.
You know,
Yep.
I don't know what your experience on that was like.
Even one time, I even failed a class one time because I was doing an overnight shift. I was working the overnight shift, doing third shift, get off work at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I would have to go to class at 9. And this was like a freshman studies class. This is like the very beginners class, something that didn't even matter like that. It wasn't anything that was according to my curriculum or anything like that. It was just like an elective class. So I just was like, you know what? I'm not going to this class because it's early. I just got off work at 7. You're talking to me about being in class again at 9. Yeah, it's just I had to take that class again during the off break. During the break time, I took that class again because I had failed it. But that's when I realized like school is more important because right now I'm paying for school anyways. So it's kind of walking backwards for me to fail a class, have to take it over again. That's just like ridiculous. So I just learned how to lessen my workload because I didn't need to add on all of those things when I'm trying to complete this task. Yeah.
That's also what I wanted to talk about. University, you're meant to um, mind the business that pays you. And whether you like it or not, that's not any job. That's the books, that's the studies, that's what you're
Yeah.
there for, you know. You,
Definitely mind the business that pays you. That is the key, my friend. And I'm talking about like, okay, so for me I can say like my roommates were lit. So I used to come home and they'll be like partying and all of these things, and I'll be like, oh, let me just party one time and I can go back to my studies. Those type of things, those are the things that can get you caught up for sure, because you're over here like, why I can miss out on this little bit. I can miss out on studying this little bit. Let me go out and have fun. Mm.
but I mean, as well, that's also where you make your connections and friends. You know, it's crazy, the uni balance lifestyle. Because you'll meet this one guy at the club or this one woman at the club and
Mm-hmm.
be like, yo, the next day you find out, you know, after the hangover and all that, you're catching up and you find, oh yeah, this person actually studies this. It's an interesting course. I
Exactly.
can see, you know, you build a connection through that.
Exactly.
But knowing when to do that as well, because sometimes you also need to stress relief, you know. You put yourself under a lot of pressure and you put under a lot of pressure. I mean, for example, when you go home, people ask you, how is university? What career do you want to go to? Like, when I'm there studying the books, I'm not that forward thinking. I'm just thinking about my exams and tests.
Eh,
So,
that's it.
but you're like, you're also supposed to be thinking about how these exams and tests will fit into your future.
Exactly. Exactly. And I don't think we do that. We're just focused on passing that test right there and then. We're not thinking how this thing will be used in our future or how this thing will be used to advance us in the future. We're just thinking like, right now I have to pass this test because right now I have to make sure I pass this class. So, yeah. I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, but I mean, in today's world, given that it's changing so much and so fast, there's not much more that you can do. If you try and look like, let me not say, I speak from experience.
Mhm.
If you try and look at what the outside world is doing, that's not minding the business that pays you. Yeah, you
Absolutely.
have to have those connections in the industries as well in order for you to be properly effective in looking outside. Otherwise, you just focus on your books and study because at the end of the day, that's your best bet. Like, come out with this top class. Um, whether or not I know what's going on, I have a top class degree. You know, we
Exactly.
we can do the rest later.
You have to make your degree count, and you have to make a
Exactly.
you have to get a degree that you know is going to count. You don't want to get a degree that's just going to have you crazy out here. And I like my degree because it's multi-platform. Like, I have a degree in PR. I have public relations degree. So I have the ability to do work in America, to do work in Africa, like everywhere. That job is going to pay me. That job is going to be worthy of people actually need it. So it's something that's
Exactly.
needed. And I had a lot of flack for even choosing that major because initially it was like physical therapy, like something that's guaranteed money, something that's in the lane of medical or nursing, like those are the fields that your parents want you, especially if you're foreign. They want you in nursing, doctor, lawyer, to come my year. You otherwise you're like a failure. So so but me, I knew I liked PR, so I knew that's what I wanted to do. Even I had to convince a couple people that my major was something worthy, but for me I was good with it, so that's all that mattered to me, because I went through three majors before deciding that PR was my passion, because I kept trying to please my parents, please my parents, please my parents.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, how was it? What was your experience like after uni? Because that's what I don't know.
Yeah, I think what people don't tell you about after uni is that it's real ish. It's so real that it's crazy. I don't think anything can prepare you for how real it is, because you are finally, even while you're in university, you're thinking that you're grown and you're having responsibilities, but when you get out, you're really 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 like, you depend on going to class and that kind of routine, having homework to do. You have a routine of how you need to complete uni. You have your process. But when you get out, you don't know which process is going to work. You don't know which process is the way you should go. You don't know which routine should be the one you stick with. You don't know. You have like a blank canvas, and you have the opportunity to decide, I'm going to put my stuff like this so that I can get this end result, or you can be like all over the place, like you don't know where you're going to start, you don't know which job is going to allow you to work there, you don't know which one is which. You just have to make your way. And that's the thing. That's the thing. You don't know that even if you have an engineering job, even if you have a nursing job, even if you have a job that, even if you have a major that is a guaranteed job, you still have to kind of connect those dots to get that end result that you want. So my thing that they told me a lot of was to make sure that I had a lot of experience. So throughout my 4 years, I was doing a lot of internships to make sure that I was being in the field and active. Yeah. Yeah. So I would recommend that for everyone. I would say make sure that you are doing internships. Even if you think it's something that you don't care, or if it's something that network as much as possible, because Haizi, even right now, I can go back to my contacts from my internships and be able to say, I need help with this, this, and that. And all of my mentors, they will easily help me and say, well, this is one of the ways I would do it, and this is how I would do it. So I think it's good to have those backups. And networking is the thing. I think what you said was balancing networking and actually studying and making sure your studies are good, and making sure that your mental is good and you're not going into depression and so many things that can come about, because Kwanzaa, you can lose yourself completely in college. You can lose yourself because you don't know who you are anyways. You never knew who you are, because you're leaving your parents' house, you're leaving that nest, that sheltering, and then now you're entering this place where you have freedom, and now you have the ability to define yourself. And it's a hard place to be, because you have so many outside influences telling you who you could be, and you're trying to figure out who you are, and then you can get lost in that, and that can cause a depression. So those are the things that you have to struggle with. You have to struggle with food, you have to struggle with depression, you have to struggle with knowing exactly what your purpose is, and if your major aligns with who you want to be. Hesh, kuna maneno.
I
Stinks.
feel to add on to the define yourself, I think that's now where the troubles of going back home, you know.
Yeah.
In uni, in uni, you are known as that. Like, you don't want to be that boring person, that just read books, stays indoors, always. You want to be with it. At least you have somewhat of a social life.
But when your parents hear at the old schools, when the old schools hear that you're in college, they're expecting that exact thing, that routine. You're going to school, you're studying, and you're going to sleep. That's it, in that order.
Yeah.
So it's a disappointment when they found out that you've mixed partying in there.
Totally, totally. It's just like, huh? Sorry?
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Ati, I'm in Nalifa Ipesa. This is the money I'm paying for you to go party.
Unheard of, unheard of.
uh,
I think that's also the interesting part, that I think
We
we
want to
want
have fun.
to have fun. Like,
Yes. But I think for the parents, I think if you're interfering with their bragging rights, you're already
yeah,
messing up. Because the point of you being in that foreign, overseas, that international uni, or even being in uni in general, is for
yeah,
them to be able to brag about you. Alafu sasa you're bringing back my scandals, yati, you've been out here partying and you're BCG, all of these my scandalous news. You're disrupting their whole mission to brag about you. So I think that's why parents, they are like, be perfect, because they have a lot of writing on you.
that's also imposing their expectations on you. You know, if they
Exactly.
tell you you're out of the nets now, you can do what you want. But that's not true. Like, I mean, of course, they want the best for you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and the best for you might be different in
Mm-hmm.
their eyes than in your eyes. You might all want the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, as well, there's a lot more wisdom that they have that they can try and communicate, and you just have to learn through life, you know. I think what I'm trying to say is that basically know what to tell your parents. You know, you don't tell them everything, and you can't show them everything as well. When you go back home, it's almost, I don't know. I don't know how one should be able to be comfortable with not sharing everything. Because when they ask how's uni, apart from the books, what else do you want me to say? You know?
That's it. That's your mission, is to make sure you're telling them about the books. And the books need to match up with what you're telling them. Like your grades need to match up. Like you need those extracurricular activities. What you do outside of that, keep it on the DL.
Unnecessary, unnecessary.
Unnecessary, because they care, they care that your grades are good. They don't care about which club you went to last night or what hangover you had. That's not what they care about.
And I think that's also important to like tell because a lot of people, it's the opposite. You know,
Mm.
they try and keep up with society and just say, yo, yeah, I went to this club. I had
And
this.
social media,
Exactly, of course.
the social
Which,
media plays such a nasty role, because you're so pressed to show everyone what you're doing, and you never know that, mama wa nani is showing off what you're doing, because what they meet up, parents, they meet up, they go to lunch, they go to town, they go do their thing, and your parents, they're like, oh, kumbe nani anaenda kufanya hivi. That's what they're going to do, and the whole time, they're surprised. So I feel like social media is the problem. Like, I think
yeah,
that's the thing. Like, we go home, of course we want to tell our parents, like, I'm great, I'm good, and then, but we also want to make sure that social media can follow up with that, because you don't want someone to be able to pull out any evidence of anything else. You want to
yeah,
be tip top.
crisp and clean.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's, I mean, when you look at it nowadays, since social media is also a new aspect, like it just recently came,
Mhm.
and it's so big in the university life nowadays that people almost don't know how to work around it, you know? It, me, myself, as well, like, um, when I talked to my parents, you know, you think your personal page is your personal page, but it really isn't. Like, unless it's private and you know everyone who follows you,
Yeah.
mm-mm,
Oh no.
you're putting a lot out there that's like, oh, what is this about, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I block people.
Yeah,
That's why people are blocked. Like, I remember when my mom first joined Instagram and she followed me. I blocked her so quick. Kwanzaa, this was in the highlight of my university days. I'm
yeah,
like, you are totally mistaken that you think you're going to be able to access my social media account. Alafu then I know you guys go around and sit and drink tea, mnakunywa chai, and then you're discussing, hey, Mana Shiro. Absolutely not. It was not happening. So I blocked my parents very early in the game, like as soon as I knew. But I think there's some people that are so reckless and they're not paying attention. And that thing about having their page open, when your page is not private, you can't monitor as much as you'd like. So some people can fall into the cracks, and these are people that are around your parents, around your family, and that can be able to show up what you've been doing, and you don't need that. Mm-mm.
Like, there's also a lot of envy and hate. So if you are seen living your best life, people will be waiting for the one moment that you're not. So it's like, oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
this person was living their best life.
Uh-huh.
That's not, let's keep that same energy up, you know.
Not know you at Tianjaripu. Kwanza, even just we can even use the last episode. More money, more problems. What was when tafuta pesa? People are like, where's the money? Because they see on social media, even though I said it on the show like numerous times, it doesn't mean that I'm getting more money. It was just a new level. But even stuff like that, even however you project yourself, whatever titles you give yourself on social media, people are going to go and run with it. They are going to run with it.
As if it's you every day,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. You don't present your losses on social media. You don't put your L's on social media. You don't put your ugly selfies on social media. You don't do those things. So I don't know why people expect for every day to be perfect like what you present yourself to be on social media when you know good and well I'm not going to put my busted pictures on social media as my representation. I want to make sure people are seeing me at a good light. So I don't understand when people think that your social media is supposed to match up exactly to who you are at all times. But at the same time, don't put fake stuff on social media. Like if you know you don't have a Gucci bag, don't put the Gucci bag on social media. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah. I
I find
think
that interesting though.
yeah.
For me, the way you say you should not put, you know, um, anything else other than your good self. That also sets up expectations for you, given that now if someone does not know you, but they know you through social media,
Right.
that they do meet you, they expect, okay, so you did this, you like this, right? I am projecting a lot of environmental awareness, social awareness.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess when you meet me, I'm a normal human being, Like, yes, these issues are great to focus on and important to outline and highlight and continue to project.
Shout out to
But
you. Mm-hmm.
thanks, thank you. But it's not, it's not who you are 24/7. It's not that you're Mandela. Yeah, it's not that you're I don't know
Kofi Annan.
all that. Nah, you're just trying to give a good message, shed a good light.
No, let me tell you guys, Robert is like one of the few. I'm gonna put your age out here. He's like 20, and if you, I'm going to link you guys to his page, and it's like crazy. The philanthropy work, like the care for the people, the care for the environment. Like you don't hear too many people that are 20 doing that. I just don't see that. I don't see that a lot. Like right now we are so into labels and fashion and all of these other things that I don't really hear people saying like, oh, let me go make sure that the trees, are saved, and let me make sure that these kids have food. Like no, we're not doing that. Like that's just the truth. So
But so we all do care about it. That's also another thing I don't understand. Like, I don't want to be unique in showing my care for it.
yeah, but
At
you
the
are.
same time,
Yeah.
yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a unique situation because I mean, there's more people like you, of course, but for the like maybe a 20% to 80% ratio, like 20% of people are actively doing something. Yeah, we are all aware that things are happening to the environment. We are all aware. We can feel the changes, but it's like who's doing something about it? You know, 20%. Yeah,
I got that.
yeah.
But anyway, you mind the business that pays you. That doesn't pay you.
Mind but save the environment too. You can't mind business if you don't have anywhere to live. Like if you don't have anywhere to live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We know people employed in a dead planet. I watched this BBC Earth documentary yesterday. I
Oh,
think I'll share with you the link.
yes.
It was really interesting just to hear about it. Like,
Mm.
but basically, it was saying climate change is real. You need to act now. I'm just thinking, yo, I have another test. So it's like, should I be reading on this? Is it important or should I go plant some trees?
plant the trees. But then you have to think about so many other things. You can't solve one problem without there being another problem. So it's like, sheesh, you have to have a master plan of everything. But the thing is that you're doing the things that are necessary. You're planting the seeds to what you want to see. So that's the big part. And I feel like we should all be helpful as much as possible, because whatever we want materialistically, we get. But what about the environment and securing that bag? We have to secure the environment. We have to secure that, because otherwise we're going to have these things and not anywhere to live. Like, we're going to have all these, like, what's the point of having money if you cannot breathe? Yeah. It's like, so only exclusive people are going to have the oxygen tanks. Like, what?
But I understand it as well, because when you try to explain these things to your parents, they're just like, okay, so you went to study economics and now you're telling me about trees. I'm sorry, what is going on?
Right.
Are you sure you're studying? Is everything okay?
Right. Actually, no, don't get my nails. You have to keep that one on the low until you're done with school. If your parents are financially taking care of you, yeah, you're going to need to keep that one on the low until you're done, unless you have like real tangible results. Because if you have results, they cannot deny that. Yeah.
For me, I think they're still in denial, but it is what it is.
I'm proud of you. If nobody else is, I'm proud. I'm proud.
I've gotten a lot of positive feedback. I think that's also something that we also need to talk about in university. Putting yourself in a circle that's positive.
Mm.
Positive, you just mean having the best intentions for someone, Not
Yes.
exactly parenting, because that's also the thing. People don't want extra parenting. No one wants that.
Even though I preach on here.
You don't.
So, choosing friends that make sense.
And as well, also listening to them. You may know everything about your life, but your life is not all life.
That's good. So you learn to get different perspectives of things from your friends,
Exactly.
different understandings.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's big, because actually that's big. Because when you get out of this thing, you're going to meet people that, of course, are not like you. And you're going to have to work with them. And you're going to have to learn how to properly be a team with these people. So it's good to be able to understand different walks of life.
I think that's we've covered almost everything, but finally, as well, it's being talked about a lot because it's a problem. Mental health and clarity. Communicate if you have issues with your mindset and your mentality.
Yeah.
Mental health. No one will know until you speak up and call for help. So
Absolutely.
if anyone needs, I will be there for them if I can be. You reply when you can, but also just speak out. Yeah.
Yes, the mental health is big. If you make sure you're taking care of your mental, because like we've discussed, you have that struggle between the balance of the two, of who you are and who you're becoming and who you were. Those struggles are real, and it definitely weighs heavy on your head, on your mental. So if you're able to kind of like if you can put everything in its proper place and learn how to sort through your thoughts and sort through your processes and sort through everything that you are going through, I feel like that's the only way to really get your mental health together. Because otherwise, if you just act like these things are nothing and they don't matter, you're going to end up messed up.
Yeah. One thing I think African parents never taught us is how to relax. And yes, you don't need to relax. You shouldn't relax, but you need to know how to relax yourself.
Yes.
How to just wind down, not just sleep. Sleep is how most people relax, but
meditate.
Before you go to bed, just how to declutter, de-stress.
Yes, declutter and de-stress. Yes, find your peace. Find your peace. Yeah, so you guys, university, if you have been in uni, if you're going to uni, if you're out of uni, this is the thing. Making sure that you are mentally, you're mentally taking care of yourself. You're mentally capable to handle all of the challenges in college, out of college, after everything. You have to be able to handle the conversations with the parents, and being able to know which information to omit and which ones to keep, and making sure that you're not killing their bragging rights. They want to brag on you, so make sure that you're at least keeping that up, because that's the point. Not letting social media overtake what you know for facts, what you know about yourself. Not letting social media interpret those things for you. Keeping good, positive people with good intentions for you around you. Listening to people, learning from people, getting different perspectives. What else am I missing?
Speaking out and enjoying yourself. Like, at the
Speaking.
same time, it's life.
Mm-hmm. Living your best life, trying to live your best life, but not telling everyone on social media that you're living your best life. Just some things are meant to be lived. Some moments are meant to be lived. Not everything has to be, showed on social media. Some things are just better experienced. So, yeah, making sure that you are experiencing college for real, not experiencing according to how social media expects you to.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
At Robert.Munene.
Yes, Robert.Monene. Okay?
And if you to help me plant and save trees of Kenya, at Ujitanga. You know.
Yes. And I'm going to link you to all of this stuff. But yes, we're going to help Robert plant these trees because we want to be able to breathe, okay? You can't, you can't smell the money if you can't smell. So
That's it.
definitely we're going to figure this thing out. We're going to secure the environment and secure the bag all in the same time, you know? So definitely has been an enjoyable conversation with my first visual podcast guest. I'm going to make sure that this thing comes out looking right. And we're going to work this thing out. But thank you so much for making time for me. And shout out to you guys, Kenyan Plug fam. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you again next Monday with a new thing. All right, you guys have a great week and enjoy this episode. Make sure you're subscribing and make sure you're sharing. Bye, fam.
For today, in these last days and times.
If I